Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy DLloyd. So Kemba Walker could potentially be traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for that number 8 overall pick in the 2018 NBA draft. Now, we had this discussion before the NBA trade deadline as to whether or not the Hornets are going to trade Kemba Walker, but we also had a discussion as to whether or not they will trade Kemba to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were looking for another point guard at that time. Isaiah Thomas really wasn't working, so we're thinking maybe that could be the swap that could be had. But now people are thinking that 8th overall pick could be the swap for Kemba Walker. As for Charlotte, you know they need to go through a rebuild mode. Clearly what they had did not work. They had a decent run, but it's not working. They have a terrible cap situation right now. They're negative. They're in the red. They need to get out of that somehow. And you need to start trading some players. Kemba Walker is the player, of course, they would like to keep, but you also want to start getting rid of players like Nicholas Batum and his contract. And really to do that, you might also need to trade Kemba Walker at the end of the day to maybe get out of some of those bad contracts. But it also makes sense to try to trade him for the 8th overall pick, because this is a pretty deep draft this year relative to a lot of other drafts. I don't think it's quite as good as the 2017 NBA draft class was, but still think it's a very solid draft and one of the best we've had in the last decade. And literally trading for that number 8 pick, you could get a potential star, or at least a potential good starter for years to come at that number 8 pick. So it makes sense for Charlotte to try to get that. You have that piece to actually maybe try to rebuild around. But on the flip side, it's going to be weird for Cleveland because the draft is before free agency begins. So literally, if they make this trade and they get rid of this 8th pick and they bring in Kemba Walker, and LeBron James then decides not to sign with Cleveland in the offseason, you have Kemba Walker, but you could have had a player to build around for the future. So this is definitely a huge decision. You will have to think Cleveland will want a promise or a guarantee from LeBron that he's going to re-sign before they make this trade happen, because like I said, you don't want to make this trade and then he leaves. If LeBron leaves, you'd rather have a young guy to build around for the future than a player like Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, I think, still one of the top point guards in the NBA. Very, very good player, all-star, but is he somebody you want to build around at this point? I think Kemba Walker needs to go to a situation where he could try to win now, and I think that's best for his career. I think for Cleveland, they need to go ahead and get themselves a young player, unless, of course, LeBron James promises to re-sign if they bring on Kemba Walker. So that is interesting there, but you guys let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section below. Do you believe the Cleveland Cavaliers should trade that 8th overall pick for a player like Kemba Walker, or do you think they are better off drafting a player with that 8th spot? You guys let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section below. It's your boy DLloyd. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.